Okay, this is the Newbie Bloggers, and we're going to talk all about how to create and monetize a blog. So I'm going to start off by just introducing myself. I'm Kathy Benner. I'm a passive income coach, and I have a full program on how to actually launch a blog, and it goes all the way through the entire systematic approach on how to do that. So every 6 months we go through the program. So January through June we went through it, and so July, perfect timing, we're starting right at the top, going through it again. And the first month, which is July, we talk all about a blog name, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Then in August, it's all about getting online, how to get that online. Once you decide your blog name and get your domain, how do you get it out there online? And then in September, we spend that month talking about how to customize it, how to brand it, make it yours. And so now you've got the name, you're online, you've got it branded, but now you're like, okay, how do I write and actually start publishing? So in October, we talk all about writing and publishing. And then in November, here's where the sweet spot is. We talk about promoting that blog. Once we have the name, we're online, we've branded it, we're writing and we're publishing regularly. Now, how are we going to promote it to get people to tap in? And finally, in December, it's all about how do we monetize it through our promotions. And then in January, we start over. And the reason for that is I only get you for less than an hour or maybe a little over an hour on once a month. And so sometimes, you know, it makes sense when I say it. And then after the call is over and you start to do it, you're like, what did she mean? How does that work? And so oftentimes folks it really makes sense the second time through. But feel free, jump out there. And the first thing we're going to do before we get started, and welcome Linda. Hi, how are you this morning? Before we get started, I just want to go around briefly and just ask where everyone physically is. I am in Canal Winchester, Ohio. I'm just kind of on the northeast corner of Columbus, Ohio, right in the middle of the state. So Lois, how about you? Tell us again where you're from.
Actually, I'm in Parma, Ohio, which is a ring suburb of Cleveland.
Okay.
Cleveland, Ohio. So
you're less than 3 hours from me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Jason, how about you?
I'm a New York City transplant, and I'm in Deerfield Beach, Florida.
Oh, I just got back from Sarasota just yesterday.
Okay, very nice, very nice.
Okay.
So, that's
all right. So you are enjoying those hot temperatures in Florida. Yes.
Correct.
Yes, we were out there on the beach. It was really warm, but beautiful. We loved it, by the way.
Yeah.
And Linda, how about you?
I am on the west side of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, about a half hour from the Ohio border.
All right, perfect. And we see the name is Seagraves. You're on mute. There you go.
Hi, I'm Candace. Sorry, I'm at work, so
I get it.
Yeah, so my name is Candace. It just pops up with my last name on all of my meetings.
Okay.
I missed the question, but I'm in Ohio. And were there other questions I was meant to answer?
No, we were just asking where everyone was coming in from. Where are you in Ohio?
Columbus.
In Columbus. Okay, I'm in Canal Winchester, so I'm
We're
probably
right
20. Yeah, I'm probably 20 minutes from you. Wherever you are in Columbus, I can be around the outer belt in a half an hour. So
I know, everywhere in a half hour around here, right? Yeah, I'm in Westerville right now. So
okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Very nice. And Preston, can you unmic and let us know where you're coming to us from? Preston has not responded earlier. I'm thinking that Preston is probably at work and is multitasking and listening in. So I get that. Linda is familiar. Lois, thank you so much. Linda, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make you my co-host. And that way, if for any reason I get bumped off the call, Linda, you can let me back in the waiting room.
You bet.
And Lois is keeping an eye out because as folks, once I share my screen, I cannot see your faces, and Lois will let me know if there's anything inappropriate going on behind the scenes that I need to mute someone or bump someone out of the call. So that's where we are today. So I have to kind of set that up because, ask me why. We've had some of those happen. So I always go in kind of prepared. So today, again, we're talking about newbie bloggers and how to create and monetize your blog. And as I was saying, we go through the series twice a year, January to June, and then July to December. And it's everything from creating your blog name to getting online, customizing and branding your blog, then how to write and publish, promoting it, and finally how to monetize it. And because I only have you for an hour on a Friday morning once a month, it's hard maybe to implement everything that you're going to learn. And so that's why it's helpful to just kind of hang in there and come through the course again. And we have folks that have gone through it 2 or 3 times, and they said they just get more clarity each time they go through it. Yes, Jason.
Very quickly, Kathy, if we miss a Friday, are the recordings available to review or?
Yes. Absolutely.
I was able to take off of work. Sometimes I'll be able to take off and sometimes not. So that's
I get it. I put in the chat, you can connect with me at kathybinner.com. If you go to kathybinner.com and scroll down my homepage, you will see the free meetup for the bloggers group. If you click through there, all the replays are at the free. And
Great.
That's kind of what I want to show you. And I'm going to share my screen here in a moment. But when you scroll down the homepage of my website, as a matter of fact, you can just do that so that you get an idea. Bear with me till I get the post here. So once you share or once you scroll down my home page, this is what it looks like. You'll come down. I've got 8 online programs. The very first column all the way to the left, that's all the free stuff. The center is all the courses, and to the right is all of the masterminds. And so when you scroll down, you're just going to scroll down until you get to the bloggers, and right here it is, and that's the free. So if you click through, that's where you get all the replays. Okay. It
Awesome.
does require you to register an account because everything is held in a platform called Teachable, and it'll simply ask you to put in an email address, and then it'll say, do you want advertising promotions, emails? Please don't turn that down. And here's why. You might say, no, I don't want a bunch of advertising. Well, I don't do a bunch of advertising. The only thing I send emails out for is I will remind you of our monthly meetups and the Zoom code. And so if you leave that open that I can send you an email, that's all you're going to get. I don't send out a bunch of sales stuff. And so I won't blow up your inbox, I promise. So anyway, you can scroll down and that just shows you everything that I have going on. So all of that is there. And then I also have some one-on-one coaching if you're interested in that. So that's where I am. I'm scrolling back to the top again, and that's what my website looks like. And you can connect with me. You can even schedule a 30-minute session if you want to talk one-on-one with me about a particular issue, and that's free. You can schedule as many of those as you'd like. So that is all about me. Now I want to move this little bar. You guys can't see it, but the little bar hides me. So now I'm going to jump over, and this is inside that course where you saw on my website that there's the free meetups, and then there's the course, and then the masterminds. This is the course, and we already have a mastermind in place. So there's a smaller group of us, and we're actually breaking down, how to do all of these items on a more intimate level. It's a smaller group, and we get down in the weeds. We actually show how to maneuver around in the websites and that sort of thing. So anyway, we're getting started. So the first thing is how to pick a blog name. And a lot of folks are like, I don't even know what I want to blog about. I want to do a blog and I want to monetize a blog, but how do I even pick a name? Well, you have to kind of know what your topics are going to be before you can pick a name. And a name is so important. And this is why. And I'll just give you a little bit of a background. I came from the cosmetology industry, and I have so many girls in the cosmetology industry. They're very artsy, which is why they do great hair, because they're so artsy. But they don't oftentimes have a very good common sense when it comes to business. And because they're just all right brain, they're just all about the art of creating. And so what happens is they come up with these super creative names for their salons. And so I had a salon, and when I moved into my own building, another salon decided to come in on my shirt tails because the building was already approved. So they were like, oh, I'll just scoot in here where Kathy's leaving and have a salon. But they named it Carpe Diem. Carpe Diem. Now, if you drove by and saw a store with Carpe Diem above the door, what would it be that they do?
Seize the day.
But what did they do? What did they sell?
We don't know the
No
intent.
idea.
Can't tell.
Yeah.
No idea.
And so they couldn't understand why they weren't getting business. They said, well, we're here and we're open. How come nobody's coming? And my customers would drive by knowing I used to be there, and they'd say, Kathy, did a carpet store go in where you used to be? And I'm like, no, that's another salon. And they're like, I could have sworn I saw the word carpet when I drove by. No, you saw the word Carpe Diem. And so you see the point. So a name is so important. And of course, all the Asian salons out there, if for you gals that get your nails done, there's no question what they do, because the sign above the door says nails. And you don't wonder, is there a nail salon in this strip mall? Because it says nails somewhere right in the name. And so a name is so important so that folks kind of get an idea of what your blog is about. Well, you can't name your blog until you know what you're going to write about. And you don't know what you're going to write about until you think about what is your passion? What are the things that you want to write about? And so that's the first thing that we want to talk about, is 13 ways to find your passion. So I'm going to click on that. And again, I've got to move our faces out of the way here. You guys can't see that, but I have to move it a little bit. So I'm not going to read this. This is in the course. By the way, if you sign up for the mastermind, which is $25 a month, you get the course for free. It's included in the mastermind. So I'm not going to read it to you, but I am going to hit the high points. And so let me see, here we go. All right, so 13 ways to find your passion. Brainstorm the activities that you find fulfilling and meaningful. That's the first thing. Just make a list of all the things that you find very meaningful in your own life. And because chances are that's kind of where you spend your time. And if that's where you spend your time, that's what you're going to know most about. Write down the values that are important to you. One of my values is I wanted a business that was heart-centered. I wanted a heart-centered business. And so that was a value that was important to me. So whenever I write a blog post, I try to make the blog post very heart-centered, because that's an important value to me. Consider your talents. You know, I could have a blog post all about singing, but I'm not a singer, so that probably wouldn't go well because that's not one of my talents. And so if it's something that you're naturally good at, or you've worked over time to develop a skill set. Now, again, I was in the salon industry for 25 years. I could have a blog about salon and salon services. And, you know, because I have developed that skill set over time. I wasn't naturally good at that. I just developed it because I was in the industry for so long. And so I could have, as a matter of fact, I thought about having one called Behind the Chair. And my audience would be other stylists and nail techs and other salon professionals. And the name of the blog would be called Behind the Chair. So you kind of get the idea of where I'm going here. So look for common themes in your interest. And so once you make that list, you might find a common thread that kind of weaves through all of those things. And once you find that common thread, see, now you can start thinking about what kind of a name you want to have. And that's the URL you're going to go for. And that's why that's important, that you kind of have to back into it. You kind of have to know your interest, kind of decide your overall theme, and then kind of back into that name that you're going to name your blog. And so narrow down your interest from there. You know, for example, you know, travel and tourism may be an interest, but maybe you can narrow it down to a particular area, or you could narrow it down to a particular type of travel, like cruising, for example. You know, booking cruises could be your blog. So anyway, again, narrow down your interest once you get those, or maybe rekindle a childhood passion. Maybe there's something that you like to do and then life kind of got in the way, and you want to go back and revisit that and maybe rekindle that childhood passion. Maybe that's where you want to go with your blog. Maybe explore the things that you've always wanted to try, because that tells me that you've had an interest in it. I don't know about you, but sometimes if I'm just out and about in the world and something will come up and I'll think, I should explore that more. I kind of like that. Well, that's kind of a hint to you that maybe that is an interest that you want to pursue. And that could be a good topic to blog about. Talk with people in the areas that you're passionate about. Find out, get involved, find out so that your passion can grow even more. And then be enthusiastic about everything that you do. Go at it with an open mind, you know, whether you're going to do gardening or whatever you're going to do, go at it with an open mind. And then follow the clear path, meaning be curious, pay attention to learning, get enthusiasm, be aware, and then recognize your passion. So that's what CLEAR stands for. And then invest time in those interests and develop those. And then persevere through challenges and failures, because once you're writing, you know, you might think, oh, I don't want to do this one. I think I want to switch. So my advice to you there is don't limit yourself if you enjoy doing something, and try to get what I call the 30,000 foot view, so that when you name your blog, you're not going to eliminate things that you wish you could include. And now I'll go back to the salon names, and here's a perfect example. So once I got out of cosmetology school and I knew, you know, how some salons you couldn't tell what they did, and then the Asian salons that always have the word nails in their name and you always know what they did, I thought, okay, I'm going to call my salon All About Nails, because I came through cosmetology in getting my license to do nails. Well, I soon realized, because once you take action, that's when you start to get clarity. Action comes first, clarity comes second. A lot of you sitting here have always wanted to have a blog. You're waiting to get clarity before you take action. And you have to flip that. Action comes first, clarity comes second. I thought I had clarity, All About Nails. I was so proud. The name of what I'm going to do is right there in the name of the salon. Well, once I started, clarity came. And what I realized is that I had a salon full of nail techs. And all of a sudden, people were saying, well, I'd love to get my hair done. Do you know of a good stylist where I can get my hair done? And I'm thinking, well, if I wouldn't have named my salon All About Nails, I could have added hair. I could have hired a stylist, but I named it All About Nails. So 2 years in, I actually had to change my salon name so that I could incorporate hair and massage and tanning. And I became a full service salon, because that's where the money was making it full service. So my point in all of that is, once you decide what your passions are, let's take a 30,000 foot view so that you can pick a name that encompasses everything that you want to talk about. So 99% of the time, you're going to have the category that's called a lifestyle blog. It's going to be a lifestyle blog. So it's all going to be about lifestyle. And so with a lifestyle blog, you can talk about anything. You can talk about anything from travel to food to hobbies to, you know, to book reviews. I mean, it's unlimited. And so you have to come up with a name that says it all. So anyway, I'm going to stop sharing I'm going to go to the next lecture here, and then I'm going to stop sharing. So when I come back, it'll be there. So I want to go back and give you an example. And so bear with me as I come back to my website. So when you look at my website, again, I am teaching you how to be healthy and how to create passive income, because I'm a passive income coach. I'm coaching you how to get there faster. And I want you to design your path so that you can experience freestyle living. And so when you look at that, that's my VPS. I have another whole lane called Build a Better Business, and we teach folks how to write their VPS, their value proposition statement. This is my value proposition statement, my VPS. If you had to sum that up in a couple of words, is my entire business about passive income, or is it about freestyle living? What would be your guess? Anyone? Jump in there.
Freestyle living.
Freestyle living, because your freestyle living strategies. You can have a complimentary strategy call. There's free meetups, there's courses, there's masterminds, there's one-on-one coaching. Then we do our tribe trips, and all of that is to design your path to freestyle living. Because one of my lanes, even though I'm a passive income coach, and here's this, I just want to give you an example. One of my lanes is all about health and wellness, called Fit as a Fiddle. And people will say, well, what does that have to do with passive income? Well, I'm a firm believer that health comes before wealth. And so if you don't have your health in line, what good is all the money in the world if your health is bad? And so I kept that lane in there because that is an important part of freestyle living. So I'm going to scroll down. And again, this is as an example. I talk about how to do long-term investing, hence the passive income. Short-term rentals, passive income. How to build a better business, passive income. Newbie bloggers, which were right here in a free meetup this morning, passive income. Write from anywhere in the world, passive income. Connections over coffee, Our Time to Rise. This is all about creating nonprofits. And then how to do a masterclass or a 5-day challenge or a mastermind in your business, passive income. And then, of course, my one-on-one coaching, and then freestyle living tribe trips to celebrate your freedom. And we do the trips. Hang in there with me. A mentor and a coach understand you, a little bit of empathy toward me that I know what I'm talking about. One of my free ebooks that you can get. Here's the new book I'm just getting ready to publish. It's co-author. It's a collaboration project. We have our own little speakers bureau. Here's all of my calendar of events that you guys can tap into. But here's where the sweet spot is. All of this to this point of my website is how you can learn to have passive income so that you too can have freestyle living. Now, when I get to this point, we segue into now, how am I going to market all of that? And so I have a podcast. Guess what it's called? Freestyle Living Podcast. Because I can talk about health and wellness. I can talk about long-term real estate. I can talk about short-term real estate. I can talk about writing from anywhere in the world. I can talk about creating masterminds. See, all my lanes, because I picked a name that I took that 30,000-foot view, because everything I'm teaching folks to do is to help them have what? Freestyle living. And so think about that when you're picking a name for your blog. That's why you have to write down all the things that you think you might want to write about before you pick that name, because you don't want to call your business All About Nails and then want to hire a hairstylist. Okay. Then as I scroll down, that's the podcast. Then as I scroll down, guess what? Blog, freestyle living. Is that not the cutest picture that just screams freestyle living? This is, and then you have to come up with something that's going to tie all of your topics together. This is what ties my topics together. This one paragraph right here is what ties all of my topics together. And I took a quote from the Dalai Lama. When asked what surprised him about humanity the most, the Dalai Lama replied, man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he's never going to die, and then dies having never really lived.
Wow.
That quote kind of rocked my world, and my entire business is built around that quote. So once you know all your lanes, and once you take that 30,000-foot view as an umbrella to name your blog, see, then you can tie it together with some form of a quote or a story. It could be your story, but something will tie all of your lanes together. This is what ties all of my lanes together. And then I want to encourage you, when you're writing about your blog, and this could be your very first blog, is how you tied your lanes together. And I want you to think, what makes you angry about all of those subjects, and what breaks your heart about all of those subjects. And again, I'm going to give you an example, and please feel free, go to my website as much as you want. And I'll say it quite bluntly, steal whatever works for you. Make it your own, don't copy and paste, but steal the ideas. So here is what breaks my heart. Right after this quote, see, and this is under my blog, my Freestyle Living blog. And see, do you want to read some blogs to help you get started? We're going to talk in a little bit about the fact that you are answering the question in your readers' minds. You're not making them enter the conversation in your mind. You're entering the conversation in their minds. And that's what's going to make your blog very popular. So see, I'm asking the question, are you, meaning you, the reader, are you wondering how to start? Have you wondered where to get ideas? Are you looking for inexpensive solutions? Do you dream of financial freedom? Okay, then this blog is for you. See, then there's my quote that ties it together. And then it breaks my heart to see would-be entrepreneurs and would-be side hustlers with amazing skills choose to stay in toxic jobs with mandatory hours that affect their health. They seem to lack the confidence. They seem to have the fear of leaving the security of the corporate world. They struggle with finding the time to create this side hustle that can grow into a full-time gig as a way to be financially independent. It seems they also struggle to find the thing that they feel passionate about. You see, that's what breaks my heart. Okay. And so this was me when I started. And so I just tie it all together. So choose how you change, how you choose to change how you think, how you work, and how you play. You might even choose to change your zip code. Okay, you see how I just tie all of that together in my blog, and then articles to help you get started. And so when they click on that, it takes you right over to my blog, and there's my blog. And it'll load here in a minute. So this is all of the tags. These are all the blogs I've written so far. And then when you come down to the bottom, it pops up to join our email list. Okay, and we're not going to talk about platforms today. We're just talking about names, but this is a finished product to show you how it looks. And we're not going to talk about how you promote it and an easy way to get it across all your social media and all of that. These are just some ideas. Okay. Is that helpful so far?
Yes.
All right. Now, there are 3 questions that your blog must answer or be doomed to wither and die. All right. These 3 questions are very, very important. Okay. So let me scroll to it. Question number 1. This is what your readers are thinking. Is this relevant to me? Okay, now your blog post isn't going to be for everyone. I'm going to have folks that are going to scroll right past my Freestyle Living because number 1, they're not going to be interested in passive income. Maybe they're corporate and it's not even on their radar. Maybe they're thinking, you know what, I got a loose hair here that's tickling my nose. They might be thinking, I've got my corporate job, I've got my retirement, I've got all of that going on. I'm not switching now. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I don't want to do a side gig. I'm ready to retire. I've done my tenure. I'm good. And so my blog post may not be relevant to them. Well, you know what? That's not my tribe. That's not my audience. And so when you're writing to your audience, then is it relevant to your audience? They're asking, is this blog that I'm reading relevant to me? Now, somebody that resonates with everything that I just read to you on my homepage, if folks resonate with that, then they're going to go, yeah, this blog is relevant to me. I'm tapping in because this is exactly the information I'm looking for. And I say this all the time, especially in my Build a Better Business mastermind, your tribe will find you. So don't start writing and then 6 weeks in go, well, I'm not getting the traction I thought, so I'm going to jettison that. I'm going to start over. I'm going to name it a different name. Don't do that, because what happens is about the time that your tribe is going to find you, you're gone. And I'll give you an actual brick and mortar story. So a cute little boutique opened up in our town. And I drove by one day and I thought, oh, that is the cutest little boutique. I cannot wait to go there when I finally have some free time. Well, you know how it is. Life gets in the way. And I was busy at the guest house. I run a bed and breakfast guest house in my home, and I was busy. And, you know, and then of course we've got a condo in Florida. So then our trip came up and we went down there for 10 days and then we're back and on and on. And finally I have my free day. I go over and it's closed. You know why? They didn't hang in there long enough for their tribe to find them. They didn't get the results that they were hoping for, and they closed. They closed way too soon. And it broke my heart because I thought, you know what, this would be a perfect opportunity for this person if they would have just known. And here's what I want to tell you. Statistics tell us that it takes 3 to 5 years for a brick and mortar business to finally break even. It also will take 3 to 5 years for your blog to start monetizing and breaking even. Know that you are building a business. And the same rules apply. So don't throw in the towel too soon if you don't think you're getting the right results. So number one, is this relevant to me? That's what your readers are asking. I'm not going to read all of this to you. I'm just going to scroll down. Number two, is this valuable to me? So once it's relevant, it can be relevant, but is it valuable? So is it valuable to your reader? They look for content that they think is valuable enough to be worth their time to read. And so make sure that you're giving tons of value and you're not just selling. You want to be serving. And again, I teach this in the Build a Better Business. Your serving is your selling. Your storytelling is your marketing. And what better place to tell a story than in a blog? So your storytelling is your marketing and your serving is your selling. So how many times have we been scrolling around on the internet, and if we feel that somebody's trying to sell us something, we scroll on by, even if it's relevant, even if it's valuable to us. If we think they're trying to sell us something, we scroll on by. If we think someone is just there to try to help us, we're in. And because people have to get to know, like, and trust you before they're going to give you their hard-earned money. And so just show up, filled up, bring value, serve, storytell, and serve. And just set the timer for a year. And just do that for a year and then go test and measure that. How is that working? How much of a tribe are you getting? Are you getting some followers? And it will happen. Your tribe will find you. Okay. And then question number 3, can I trust this? Oh boy, that's a big one. Can I trust this? Again, the best way to gain the know, like, and trust of your readership is to show up and, again, storytell and serve. Your storytelling is your marketing. Your serving is your selling. Just do that consistently, and your tribe will start to realize that they can trust you. They have to be able to trust the author. So with that, the big word is authentic. You have to be authentic. If you put on, and again, I don't want to dog any pastors. If we have any pastors on the call today, I get it. I grew up in the church. I understand all that. But sometimes we hear these stories where a pastor, went down in flames, and we realize that they were putting on the show. It wasn't who they really were deep down inside. And so here's what I want to tell you. It's not what you put on, like putting on a jacket. It's what comes out from within. And so you have to be that authentic person. Don't put on that you're that authentic person when you're writing your blog. You have to actually be that authentic person, because your readers will know the difference. Over time, you will be exposed and your readers will know the difference. So you have to actually be that authentic person. It has to be who you are when you're writing. And writing is very vulnerable. You have to be very vulnerable when you're writing. And again, your storytelling is going to be your marketing. People love stories. And so I'm going to move on to the next topic. We're going to talk about then your avatar. But people love storytelling. And so when you're telling your story, that's where folks are going to connect, because they're going to say, oh yeah, I remember when that happened to me, or I remember when I felt that way. And that's what's going to make them feel connected to you. And they're going to start to feel like they know you and like you and trust you. And I mean, even on TV shows, how many times have we watched a TV show all our lives when we were kids, and we really, really liked that TV show, and then some scandal happened down the road, and it shatters our childhood, because we're like, oh my gosh, I love that person, and now come to find out that's not who they really were at all. And of course they were acting because it's a show, but we find out that it's not even their personality, it's not even who they are, and we feel very disillusioned about that. And so be authentic, be authentically yourself, and don't be afraid to be a little vulnerable. And so the last thing I want to cover now is the #1 tip for a successful blog is to know your avatar. Now you say, okay, what is that? And what are you talking about? I read a book, and I'm going to backtrack just a moment here. I read a book by Carrie Oberbrunner, and it was called Deeper Path. And in this book, he leads you through, and it's faith-based, because he's a faith-based author, but it leads you through the system where you actually write your opus. And opus, by definition, in his book, is what your life legacy is. What do you want to be known for? What is your whole purpose in this world? What is that legacy? And what is that opus? And so when I went through the Deeper Path, I realized that I really, truly, in my heart of hearts, I wanted to help folks that needed to make a difference in their financial lives. They needed to move the needle at some level. They needed extra income, and more than need, they had to get some, because they were going under. You know, they just really needed to move that needle. And so my opus was to create programs, which you saw on my website, was to create programs that would be affordable. And because how many times have we seen a big guru, and for $10,000, they'll show you how to do a funnel and sell whatever. And you're thinking, well, if I had $10,000, I wouldn't need your program. But, but so the point is that when I went through that and wrote my opus, it was to help folks that maybe $200 a month might make a difference in what car they get to drive. I mean, you can lease a brand new car for a little over $200 a month. You can drive a brand new car. And maybe $500 makes a difference on what neighborhood they live in and what school their kids go to. And it might make all the difference in the world to that family to just have $500 a month in their budget. Well, wonder if they could develop and create $1,000 a month. You know, they might be able to even start that side gig. Or wonder if they're creating $10,000 a month. Now they can actually maybe start some nonprofits and help some other folks that don't have the income that they have, that they can really make a difference and impact the world. So it's all about impact. And so once you know your purpose, your opus, your legacy, once you know that, then that tells you who your audience is going to be. So my audience is always going to be that person that's right on the cusp, that's struggling to move the needle financially. That's my person, and that's my avatar. So now whenever I write a blog post, I'm writing to that person. Because remember, you want to write, we've got Delma coming in the room. We're going to let Delma in. So remember that when you're writing, you're trying to enter the conversation in their heads. You're not making them enter the conversation in yours. And so you have to know who that avatar is first, so that every time you write, you're writing to her or to him or to that family. Now, I'll give you an example, and I go back to my salon days because that's the easiest example for me. When I set my prices in the salon, and I was a nail tech, I was the owner of the salon, but I wasn't licensed to do hair. I was just licensed to do nails. And when I set my prices, I said, who is my most profitable customer? And my most profitable customer was a gal from 35 to 65 that was in the workforce that had a professional job and her nails was part of her business uniform. She was a teacher or an attorney, or she even worked in retail where she was out in front of customers all day. That was my avatar, you see? And so I actually got out a magazine. I found a gal in that age group dressed in a suit with her briefcase, and I cut that picture out. And I had that picture over my desk because everything I did in the salon business was for her. So I set my prices for her. I set my products for her. Is she going to wear a bunch of loud nail art? Well, maybe she'll wear some nail art on a more subtle basis because she's in a professional job, but she wouldn't wear the really bizarre nail art. And so I didn't spend my days learning the outrageous, bizarre nail art. I had some other nail techs that, because remember, I said before, all of these salon folks are very creative. And so they all decided they wanted to spend their day making nails this long and spirals and feathers. And, you know, and I said, who's going to buy that? And they're like, we don't know, but we love making it. And I'm like, okay, good luck with that. Because see, I had to enter the conversation in my customer's mind, not make them enter the conversation in mine. And so I knew that I had to appeal to that avatar, which was that gal in the professional environment who basically had the money to have nails on a regular basis for years. And so that's all I'm saying is come out with an avatar that represents your customer. And this course tells you how to determine your avatar and why it's so important. And then it gives some examples of avatars, and all of this is in the course. So I just want to share all of that with you. Okay, so I'm going to open it up for questions, and welcome. We've got some additional folks in the room. Thank you so much for tapping in. And Delma, we see you're there. We see Preston is still there with us. So anyway, any questions from anyone that I can help clear up for you, or comments?
It's more of a kind of a technical question, kind of.
Sure.
Why did you choose tags over categories for your blog?
Because I'm not real techie, and I chose HostGator to be my platform because I was price point driven. It was only $3 and something a month, and that includes the domain. And it was a plug and play, and that's how they do it.
Gotcha.
And so I simply didn't change it. Now I could find another platform that has categories, or I could create another page and create some categories and then put links over there. I mean, I could create that.
Right. No,
Yeah.
no, there was nothing wrong with what you did. I was just curious because I'm trying to decide. I already have a layout and everything. But
Okay.
I'm trying, you know, I know that we kind of moved away from tags because of duplicate content issues and all this stuff. So anyway, that I just want to pick your brain about that.
Yeah, no, and again, it's just because that's the way it came on the platform. But
Okay.
I could actually add a category page.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I could do that.
Your site is great. Love it.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you for that, Jason.
Hey, Kathy, so I'm wondering, I'm very, very new to this. I'm wondering, I'm not very much into social media, even though I recognize the value of it in business and respect it in business. But personally, I've got like a Pinterest account that's all set to private. So, so this is, how do you get started and bring people, maybe this is in your course, but bring people to your blog when you're starting literally from scratch?
Well, my first suggestion, and again, we do get into that when we get to the promotion category, and we do get to that. But what I would recommend is you have a personal page on most of your social media that you probably have set to private. You simply start a group and you name the group the name of your blog. Like my group is called Freestyle Living, and that's where I promote it.
So yeah, like I don't have Facebook, I don't have Instagram, I have 0 things. So I would have to actually build those and then create a group. So, okay.
Yeah, but you can create a personal page and you don't even have to post on your personal page.
Got it.
Those require that you have a personal page, and that's your portal to get on, is a personal page.
Okay.
And then you simply create a group. And I have 8 different groups because I have 8 different lanes. So I have a group for each lane.
Okay.
And that's where I promote my blog.
I like it. Thank you for that. Mhm.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments? Thoughts?
Where did everyone say they were? Sorry, I wanted to know where everyone said they were from because I did miss that part and I find that fascinating. Is everyone from Ohio?
Nope, nope. Linda is not.
I'm in Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I'm in
Jason, you're in Florida, right?
Yeah, Jason's in Florida.
Florida. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
Hi.
Okay. Sorry to make us go backwards on that. Thanks. Okay.
No, that's kind of fun to see where everyone is from.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think so. Linda, you were about to say something. I interrupted you.
Oh, no worries. I just had a question because I don't live in the world of blogs, and Jason had brought up the idea of categories versus tags. So categories would be a little bit like a table of contents, like people could look for items of interest. Maybe you could use both because tags are so versatile. You might actually address several things in one post, and tags would enable people to find those posts, right?
Yes. But you could do both. You could, like I told Jason, all I'd have to do on my HostGator is add a category page. And folks would just click on the categories, and then I could then move all of my blogs under whatever category that it most went with.
And then, just from thinking from an SEO perspective, sometimes you need to be careful because the engines or the crawlers might index your archive pages, and depending on the memory of your site, it can kind of bloat your site and get your crawl budget. So you gotta, those are just like personal decisions you make. But that's why I'm still, trying to decide because you have to kind of optimize for that as well.
Now, again, to get started, don't overthink that. A lot of people think, oh, there's no way I understand all of that. I can't start. I got to learn more. Don't let that stop you from getting started. I have a gal in our blogging mastermind. She hasn't even chosen a platform yet. And she's been through this whole program twice now, and she still hasn't pulled the trigger on a platform. She's actually writing her blog over in a Word document, and she's posting the entire blog on her Facebook group. And that's her blogging platform. And she's getting results. So don't overthink it. Don't overthink, oh my gosh, what platform should I be on? And, and what's Jason talking about? So don't get carried away with that. The big thing is to just start. And what I want to show you, and again, I'm going to share my screen one more time. I'm going to go to my website, and I'm going to scroll clear to the top of my website just to kind of show you where to find it. And if you go clear to the top, my little hamburger up here is my index. Now I got to move our faces here. And then if you scroll down to the resources page on my site, and then scroll down the resources, one of the things that you'll find, and I've got everything up here. I'll scroll back to the top. Everything at the top is all about the real estate. And if you scroll past that, now it's getting into real estate syndicates, and now it's getting into a bed and breakfast, and now we're getting into the building a better business. If you get down to the build a better business, these are some of my favorite tools. And here's where you'll find HostGator. And if you click through on my site, you will get hosting and your domain name for as low as $275 a month. So don't let price keep you from doing that. Here is one, for $375 a month. And then here's other things for writing. So look down through that. We're not going to get into the PLR today, but if you go, oh my gosh, once I get started and I've got the platform, I've got the name, when am I going to have time to write? I actually, and again, if you click through on my site, you get 10 free credits. And I also, the way I get paid is I also get 10 free credits, and it's done for you content. And it allows you to use private label rights content and for any way you wish. And once you go in there, you can pick a topic and download, a blog post, and then you're allowed to clean it up and make it yours. And I'll give you an example. I'm all about passive income. Well, there weren't any blog posts in PLR under passive income, but there was a ton of them under money. And so what I did is I downloaded an article about money and I just changed the word money to passive income. And that was my blog post for that week. I didn't have to sit down and write one. And it's a great way to get a framework if you're if you have a busy life and it's one, and because consistency is your key to consistently post that blog post, whatever your plan is, whether it's twice a week, once a week, whatever, is to be consistent, because that's what will get your readers on board. And then life is going to get in the way. And so occasionally you may need some help writing. Even if you're an amazing writer, you can jump over here and get a basic article that just takes you a second or two to make it yours. So again, if you click through on my website, each article is worth like a credit. And if you click through, I give you 10 free credits, but then I get 10 free credits for you clicking through as well. So, because I use PLR when I'm in a pickle and need to write in a hurry. So I'll just show you that, and that's on my resource page. So utilize that to your advantage. All of the resources there are there to help you. But again, because we're talking about monetizing, all of those resources also help me. Because every time somebody clicks through, I either get paid a commission or points or something. And it's not a lot, but you add it all up, and that's what makes it successful. Yes. Any other comments?
Question more. Do you, I guess it depends on personal preference, but do you recommend shooting for posting like twice a week or once a week consistently? If it like whatever's more reasonable, which direction would you go?
I personally tried to do the twice a week, and I had a terrible time keeping up with that. Once a week seems to fit my lifestyle better, because I can plug that in just to remember, every Monday morning or every Thursday or whatever. And and that way, if I have some downtime, I can do 2 or 3 ahead and just not hit the publish button. I can have them ready to go and already uploaded onto my platform. And the only difference is I haven't hit publish yet. And so then I can hit publish whatever that designated day of the week is. So I find once a week works best for me. And everyone, you'll find your stride. You'll find what works best for you.
Thank you.
But consistency is the key. Any other comments?
That was a good question.
Yes. Lois, we haven't heard from you. How are you feeling about the content so far? Is this being helpful?
It is being helpful, and I'm just taking notes as we go along and enjoying listening to you talk and give us all that good info. A lot of good pointers.
Good. I'm hoping that you found tons of value in the call today. I appreciate you all so much for coming on. I'm going to just kind of call out Preston or Delma. If you'd like to have a word, we haven't heard from Preston. I'm assuming Preston's probably at work and multitasking. Delma, welcome. We see that you came in late. How are you today, and where are you coming to us from? And you've got your microphone on mute. If you'd like to unmute and say hello. Oh, Preston is at work. Thank you very much. A direct message to me. Yes. Yes, I get that. So, and Delma may also be working. I understand. I know on a Friday morning at 10, sometimes if you're at work, you have to kind of tap in behind the scenes. And I understand that. Now, all the replays are at kathybinner.com. Scroll down to the free replays for the bloggers. Click through. It'll ask you to create an account with your email. But it is free, and all of our replays are there. So you're welcome to go back through those. And again, as we unfold the whole list of topics, everything from a blog name to getting online to customizing to writing and publishing, promoting, and then finally monetizing, all of those replays are there, and they're all labeled as such. So you can find whatever, and the conversation is different every call. So you could go through several seasons on the same topic and you're going to get different conversations.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. Thank you.
All right. So we are at the top of the hour, just a couple of minutes to go. Is there any final comments? And I'd like to go around and what is your number one takeaway? So think about that for just a moment. What is your number one takeaway for today? What was your biggest aha moment? So I'm going to call on Jason first. What do you think?
Well, there's two things. Consistency is key and don't overthink. I'll disclose very quickly. I'm not necessarily a new blogger. I do have some experience. I had a defunct blog called loveantics.com. I let that go. Life got in the way. It was getting organic traffic. I was getting publishing, from major editorial relationship magazines. I've written for them, and life got in the way, bottom line. So this is a reboot of my blog. My old domain name is up for sale for $4,000 because I had built a brand around it. And I couldn't get it back because they want me to pay $4,000 for my name because I let it expire. So I'm rebranding, I'm rebooting, but I thank you for having this. This is like excellent. And thank you for pouring into us and taking the time. It's very inspiring.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you. Candace, how about you? What is your takeaway?
Yeah, so I had a different one in mind as we went along, but as you asked me on the spot, one of the main things is don't be tempted to write to everybody. Just have your avatar, think about what that person, what their life would be, and write to that person. That's the thing.
Good. That's a great takeaway. Lois, how about you?
Well, I'm started to think about my talents, what I would like to blog about, and they're kind of all over the board. So I think narrowing that down, and I also like the avatar idea, where you would identify with one of your viewers and blog, keeping that person or that personality in mind, because I tend to reach out to everyone. So staying focused. And I also liked your lifestyle blog, how it's all inclusive. So you're not necessarily stuck on nails or hairstyles or whatever, you can jump off and pivot when needed. And also enjoy listening to the expertise from the other people in this group. So I appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to the next one next month.
I love it. Thank you so much, Lois. That was great. Thank you. Linda, how about you?
There were so many golden nuggets all the way through. I loved you reiterating that action comes first and clarity comes second, because it's just so easy to get bogged down and never start, but just get moving, and you can course correct once you're doing that. And I wanted to thank you for highlighting that wonderful quote from the Dalai Lama. The importance of the way we live our life and our purpose and making a difference and not wasting the time that we're given. So much of that is summed up in that quote. It was fabulous. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That awesome. Quote rocked my world when I saw it. And I knew I had to incorporate it somewhere in my business. Now, just on a side note, I almost took the whole health lane out because I had a coach actually tell me that doesn't go with passive income. And I almost took it out. And my girlfriend stopped me and she said, don't you dare take that out. She said, that is such an important part of freestyle living. She said, if you're in a hospital laid up somewhere with all kind of diseases and getting chemo treatment, she said, how freestyle is that?
Right.
And she said, it's an important piece of it. So, so then I had to find a way to tie it together because again, it was part of my passion and I wanted to make sure that I could tie it together. And it was that quote that tied it together for me, for my business. So Preston, I know Preston's at work. If you want to, Preston says, I'm at work. Thanks very much. Says, I need to get off my ass and do something. Okay, maybe that's Preston's takeaway today. I love that. Thank you for that. Delma, how about you? And again, you can put it in the chat if you would like. Any takeaways? I know you jumped in a little late, so you may have not gotten the full impact of the call. Oh, Delma has left. So chances are they were just listening in and maybe at work. I get that. So I want to say thanks to everybody that was on today. It is 11:03, so we're going to sign off again. Go get the replays. Check out my website. I'll say it, with all the love in my heart. Steal whatever you want off of my website if it works for you. Make it your own, but reword it, but it'll give you some ideas. And if you need some inspiration and ideas, please feel free to go there and get those. And if you want to tap through on the resources, again, you can choose whatever platform you want. But if you want to tap through on the resources there, there is just some extra benefits for you to do that. So I just want to add value every time I get the opportunity to do that. Again, one of my values is I want my business to be heart-centered, and I want to make it all about you. So thank you for being with me today.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your time.
Very
Everybody, good
helpful.
to meet you.
Okay, see you next month.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.